Beef has about 30 times the CO2 emissions. A lot of the Brazilian rainforest is being cut down for chickens. We need at least 10% of our calories from protein. When we think about the word vegan, it's actually an animal rights-based word. And if people want to lose weight, they'll really cut back on that. But the only group that really doesn't have much protein, hardly any, is fruits.
What was the factor that made you switch from proteins or just going on a plant-based diet?
On my plant-based?
People are very curious to
Yeah.
know, can you even live just on a plant-based diet?
Well, I'm actually 83 years old, and I've been completely plant-based for about 33 years. But I certainly didn't start out this way. And my father actually worked with Best and Banting, who got the Nobel Prize in relation to insulin's use in relation to type 2 diabetes. I was around that all the time, and my mom was good at teaching how to make good food. But then I'm from this very academic background, and then I started to want to explore the world. So I had the opportunity to travel around, go to all different countries, and one of them I spent a lot of time in was India. And they're very good at things like chana masala, mujardara, hummus in the Middle East, chilies, adas or lentil soups. Like, they're just really good at doing those things, so they taste good. And that started me. It was actually cultural. Oh, those things taste good. And then I started learning about the some of the animal issues, how in our slaughterhouses, in the institutional, the situation for the animals is very cruel. And I understand even Mohammed talked about this, that there shouldn't be cruelty with regard to animals. And then I got to know about the health things. And I'd like to end up being even older and have no health problems, like not be all tied up to a bedpan and tubes and all that kind of stuff. And then the fourth, which is a very new situation, interest to young people, causing huge switches, is the environmental impacts. For example, beef has about 30 times the CO2 emissions of something like tofu, or what they call in India the pulsas, or the legumes, the things that grow in pods, which of course are fed to the animals, including chickens. Like, a lot of the Brazilian rainforest is being cut down for chickens, surprisingly. So people are just starting to notice that land use, water use, environmental impacts, things relating to all these forest fires that are coming. So I find that the stretch of why this is appealing is increasing with time.
So is protein coming from, not only protein, but a lot of other stuff, is that coming from the plants a good option? Miss Vesanto and her group believe that plants in itself are sufficient to get what you need and live. By the way, there's some very famous actors now who have joint problems, inflammation in their joints, and when they go above 50, they start feeling that I should have been on a plant-based diet right from the beginning, and this is not good for me. I've ate this protein from a meat, and my heart has become weak. My lungs, which are also protein, are weaker, and my kidneys, which are also protein, are weaker. So just be mindful about that. That's another thought that is out there. I want to go back to Miss Vesanto and ask, because she's a dietitian, and she will give you advice on how to follow a plant diet. I'm going to be asking a follow-up question, and that is, why do I lose weight whenever I go on plant diet? I tend, and the follow-up question, they always appear emaciated. They always appear weak. They're never fully grown bodybuilders. What do? I want to be strong. I want to be big, and I need to be on good protein, solid protein. What would you say to that, Ms. Vasanto?
Well, one of the things is that we need at least 10% of our calories from protein. 15% is great. You can go up to about 30%. Now, the legumes actually provide 20 to 30% of their calories from protein. So you can rely on those. And we recommend that people use those twice a day. And I want to say something about the words vegan and plant powered, because I think when we think about the word vegan, it's actually an animal rights based word. And the more I've been learning, and I'm really interested in plant based and how to make it really work for people. But uh, plant based research is more focused on what's a really healthy pattern. In our plant powered protein website, people can look there, plant powered protein, no periods, but just a dash between plant powered. And there's a food guide on there. And you can look at a excellent pattern. And it's actually very similar to food guides around the world, especially the health oriented ones. So about half your plate is vegetables and fruits. And even a lot of the vegetables have as much as 40% of their calories from protein. And then there's a quarter of the picture is grains. And if people want to lose weight, they'll really cut back on that. But we're really focusing on whole grains. And then legumes are at least a quarter of the picture. That's of your whole day. And then nuts and seeds. The only group that really doesn't have much protein, hardly any, is fruits. Of course, they have very other protective substances, and the starchy vegetables are fairly low. But you can easily get enough protein from the legumes, especially the soy and tempeh and tofu. And there were some funny rumors about that for men, which were based on two guys that really overuse soy. And so soy is actually can be very helpful. And the veggie meats that they're making can be helpful for people in transition. So it's sure not hard to get the protein that you need.
What a remarkable journey we've just experienced together. The path to health isn't always straight, but it's always worth the effort. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your wellness journey, armed with new knowledge and a fresh perspective. If today's episode left you inspired, share it with people, someone who need to hear this. Give us a thumbs up and your opinion. Keep exploring, keep evolving, and we'll see you in the next episode of Khan Clinics.